Well, we got a road win. Feel very good about that. It was a weird game. First 3 or 4 possessions, I thought we had great shots, made none of them. And after that, we took some bad shots, turned the ball over, just silly turns. We threw it out of bounds 3 times, like a quarterback throwing between 2 receivers 10 yards apart, trying to hope one of them catch it. But 8 turnovers a half. I was very disappointed in that. For us to miss, what did you say, 35 shots? 35 shots, and we got 7 offensive rebounds. So I'm not pleased. I was not pleased at halftime with that, but we came out early in the second half. Same old thing I've said a lot. The ball started going in the basket, and everything looked a lot better. Cam and Kobe, particularly, I think Kenny made 1 during that time. I think, in fact, that was probably his only one. But those guys made the threes early in the second half. At one time, I felt like we had scored 15 or 16 points, and the only points they had was a 3 on the second shot opportunity when we didn't box out. So it was, but again, it's a road win for us. It's a good win. I think look at Cam's line, 8 for 10 from floor, 4 for 6 from 3, 3 assists, 1 turnover. Kobe 8 assists, 2 turnovers, and one of his was one of those passes to somebody in the crowd. But those 2 guys early in the second half were really something. Never seen Luke May play a game like that, so he got that game out of his system and we still won. But I thought that B-Rob did some good things when he gave us some things when he came in. Nasir gave us some things when he came in. But overall, we got to rebound the ball a heck of a lot better than we did tonight, but we got lucky and made shots.
Cam scored the first 8 points in the second half, gave you guys a spark. He's done that routinely this year, many games this year. How big was that stretch and how needed was that spark?
Well, I think it was needed, there's no question, but I didn't really care who it was. But as I said, Cam and Kobe made most of them during that stretch. But he had a big guy trying to guard him out on the court, and he wasn't as comfortable coming out as far as Cam was going to shoot it. One of them was really deep. I didn't like it at all until it went in. We made 2 threes and then a layup, but we also got our break going a little bit. But I think in the first half, what did we have fast break points in the first half? Because we got a lot more in the second half.
We had 9.
9 in the first half, 15 in the second half.
How would you assess the defensive performance today?
I don't know, gosh, I get so frustrated myself, but you know, they missed some easy shots. I think if you were to talk to Josh, I don't want to evaluate his team for him, but they had got the ball on the block and turned around and shot over 4 or 5 times. It just didn't go in. And, that's the problem we have, is scoring inside. And I think early in the second half they had some pretty good shots, but it just didn't go in. We gave up, again, 8 second chance points, so that's too many. I think we can, well, let's put it this way, we weren't near as good defensively today as we were yesterday in practice. If we had played defense today like we did yesterday in practice, I was really enthused with that.
Roy, can you give us any insight on what happened with Leaky Black?
Sprained his ankle. Sprained left ankle.
Roy, 24 fast break points, I assume, against a team that plays a good zone like Georgia Tech. That early offense was critical.
Well, it was, but you know, also, that's what I want to do, is push the pace. And if you put that, that's the 3 things that put on the board, is push the pace, make sure we get back and stop their break, and rebound the ball on the board. And we did one of those. It was good enough to really help us. But zone's hard to box out, and we didn't get in there and get any offensive rebounds.
You guys, when you beat Gonzaga, you followed that up with a loss to Kentucky, and then the NC State game came, Louisville game. How important was it to follow up last week's win against Virginia Tech with a good effort and a win, and to kind of get some momentum going?
Well, I think we won 3 in a row, 4 in a row. So we have a little momentum. It's not just today. It wasn't just, 4 in a row. And there are 4 ACC wins, which everybody would take. But I'm always telling them, I didn't start the season talking about winning today at Georgia Tech or at home against Notre Dame. I talked about let's getting better the entire season. And I think we're doing some of that, but we didn't show it today on the offensive boards for sure.
They had a lot of trouble going to the basket and scoring. Was that kind of a big emphasis as opposed to kind of tuck in the lane?
Well, we don't have a shot blocker in there, so we try to stop the driving lanes. We also try to stop the backdoor cuts, and they got 4 of those for layups. But I think, you know, it's with the 2 guards, and I think somebody said that Jose got hurt at the end. I didn't realize that, but with he and DeVoe, they have 2 guards who do a really good job of penetrating the ball to the basket and attacking. And so we talked about trying to stop their penetration, and I don't know that we did it, but they missed a couple of them.
Coach, one of your worst losses as the head coach in Carolina was to Louisville the last time.
Not one of, it was
The
home,
worst.
it was the worst, yes. Any
How does a
home,
game
Lawrence,
like-
Kansas, or Chapel Hill.
How does a game like this, from a confidence standpoint, help you prepare for Louisville who's up next?
Well, you know, I'll go back to a little bit of the same answer over here. We've won 4 in a row, so it wasn't just Virginia Tech game or today's game. I think we're a little more confident, but we had a couple of guys that didn't play worth a darn today. If we had played, we got to play a complete game to win at Louisville. We know that, and they beat us in our building, beat us handily. It's one of the very few games, and I mean very few, that I've ever coached that I sat there and didn't realize who was my team. The guys that were right there on the floor in that game didn't look like my team. But you got to give Louisville credit too, because they made a lot of those things happen. So they're playing well. I think they've only lost 1 game since that point with themselves. We got to go in there and try to play a heck of a lot better than we played against them last night.
Last 2 here.
Coach, as you mentioned, Kobe White had a really sound performance today, especially on the road. As this season progresses, what have you been the most impressed with by the young freshman?
Well, you've heard this from probably 100 different coaches, so it's a cliche, but by now they're not really freshmen. We play 20 games now. But we preach and preach and preach and talk about we can play well on the road, and I think he's had some really good games on the road for us. But he's getting better every single game, and when his shot goes in, it's really good, and when he's 8-2 assist-air ratio, that's really good too.
Last one, Jonathan.
And occasionally Luke has had some down games. What would you like to see from him to increase his shooting percentage and maybe not turn the ball over?
Well, yeah, I mean, you have 5 turnovers. I mean, my gosh, you can't have that. I don't care if you're the center, the point guard, whatever you are. But Luke's really had some big-time games for us. I told him in our locker room, nobody's ever seen Luke May play like that. He got that out of his system, so I expect him to be great on Saturday.